today we have Mike O'Neill sharing on automation. I want to remind everybody that we have two goals here today. Goal number one is to learn LinkedIn. Goal number two is to have a good time. The only rule that we have is no being a troll. So Mike is a familiar face. I'm really excited for him to be sharing his insight here today. Mike, I mean, just take the wheel. I might interrupt you with questions if that's okay. And then if you have a question, you could either throw it in the chat and we can keep an eye on the chat, or you can save it till after Mike does his thing. So we good?
You're going to have to make me a co-host or something so I can screen share.
Oh, you know what? I should have done that before. Hang on one second, Mike.
And I'll try really hard not to end the whole meeting at the end by pressing the wrong button. Do you know what I mean by that?
I do. You are now a host.
Have you ever done that?
I have not actually.
I have. Yeah, I shut down. It was at the end anyway. All right, so we're going to do the demo stuff at the end. I have a little bit of a presentation I'm going to do for you. I thought it would be good for us to understand what a campaign is to know what we are automating. Okay, there's inputs and outputs and stuff. So this is my campaign presentation. All right. So we coined a phrase called the time system. I'll explain it here as we go along, but it is a formula. All right. It stands for this: targeting just the right people that we want to have. Okay. So the best damn search money or free LinkedIn can buy, generally Sales Navigator. Next, including just the folks that we want. And by there, we're using a systems of tags and lead lists to create a list that has just the folks we want. We turn the search into a list, okay? Next, we create messages that are relevant to these particular people that we're targeting here. And of course, there's some content involved with that. All of this gets programmed and put into a system that delivers the messages and then also singles out the conversations. So that's where the time system comes from. So if you're doing LinkedIn, you've got these two inputs here. They're a little more simplistic for LinkedIn.com than they are for Sales Navigator, which you'll see. So we have a search, a target list. It's a search though. There's no list capability built into LinkedIn.com. By the way, if you want to do a list on LinkedIn.com, it's called Excel or a Google Sheet with profile URLs. That's your list over there. And that works in some instances. A lot of instances it works, quite frankly. The other thing is you have messages. So what are you going to say to who, sort of? And what comes out of this are responses, many of them leads, and they show up in your inbox. You know, they might come as an email or some other way, but generally 95% come right back in your inbox. It gets a little more interesting with Sales Navigator. So here we can create that scrubbed list we talked about using tags, generally speaking, tags for targets out here, because they can go as far as we want, you know, tens of thousands on a tag list, if you like. Only 2,500 are really usable and stuff. But with lead lists, you're limited in that case to 250. So I suggest lead lists for folks that you're already engaged with somehow, you're already talking to somehow, or specialty projects, and using tag lists for the bulk stuff. But what comes out of it with Sales Navigator is the responses and leads. Now, sometimes in two inboxes. You've got an inbox on Sales Navigator, inbox on LinkedIn. Pretty much all the tools I work with and systems I work with all dump it into the LinkedIn.com inbox, which is where you want it. You also get campaign data, and that might be in the form of a CSV that downloads, or it could be a Google Sheet that gets created. It could be a Zapier integration somehow, but data comes out of this stuff out of here. It doesn't generally come out of it when you're doing LinkedIn.com stuff. Technically it does out there, but these are generally, you're doing free manual campaigns on LinkedIn.com, which is fine, really works great. You can customize everything and stuff. Still got a target list, still got messages, but you customize it to each person and do it manually. We're automating when we're doing Sales Navigator, or at least if we are automating, we're using Sales Navigator. So I'm going to identify what happens in a campaign real quick. Okay, this is the most common scenario. Hey, we find some targets out there. We got to search. Okay. In our scenario, we might have a list where we are scrubbing the list as well. We got a target list of some way, a search or a list. Okay, we're sending some invites, you know, some connect, you know, 20, 25% on up, connect, depends on your audience. We send messages to them after they connect. And then the responders, you know, we have to address them. You know, what do we do with responders? What do we do with the leads, right? You know, what do we do with the folks who say, I'm sorry, thumbs down? There's a set of actions you have to take in these processes here. So I promised you targeting, okay, the T in the time system. So targeting on LinkedIn, kind of like this. Okay, stop for a quick moment, take a gander. We got a search on LinkedIn.com, free or not. In Denver, you know, techie companies, computer-related companies, decision makers. Now, remember a few things. We can only have so many of the ors over there on the left. We can have only so many things. But here with Sales Navigator, we can do more. See, we can do more. So we had a little more beef. There's a little beef here.
Funny.
All
That's
right.
hilarious.
So here we go. So Sales Navigator gives us this sort of a dashboard to decide our audience. Now, I generally, instead of using seniority level here that I use in this example, use some really big badass Boolean instead. There's too much inaccuracy using seniority level in general, but for the sake of this example here, since you can use Boolean in both cases, I showed that here. This is generally why people upgrade to Sales Navigator. Hey, you know, the people are too big or they're too small. I'm wasting my time on companies that are not the right size. They're not the right size. So the approaches I'm talking about here work in an account-based environment as well. You've got your list of companies, you find your companies out in Sales Navigator, you find the people on the list, and so this sort of scenario. All right, find the companies, find the people, still you get them on a list, you do the same kinds of things. All right. So the next part is including. So including, in this case, this example, I've got 1,000 results in this search. There's 900 good ones. So I'm able, using that tag scenario I talked about, to eliminate the 100 from the search that were not wanted. You know, they're not good enough. Okay, they are whatever, whatever, whatever. It's usually that 100 that you eliminate here are the ones that get you into trouble anyway. So it's great to be able to scrub. I use this with all my clients. It's one of the biggest, baddest, best things. And then you put the scrubbed list in, all right? Scrubby dub dub, all right? People love to scrub. They like that. Some people have their assistant scrub first, and then they scrub. It can be a 1, 2, 3 scrub process, all kinds of things. But the matter of scrubbing isn't so sexy. It's not. It's really not. It's more like unchecking a box, all right? So when we're using this scenario, we're tagging everyone in a search, and then we're untagging the people we don't want to create this great list, this approved list, all right? Everyone is, oh, yes, they're all approved, because if they're not, they don't go on this list. You know, if you can't say, this is it, then they go on maybe some other list, but not on this list. The second thing that goes into a campaign, the second input are messages. Okay, and the targets and the messages have to fit together like a zipper, like a glove. These targets, that messages. We know as service providers, you know, how to use naming conventions and special things to make this happen. But I've seen it where people, even folks that I've coached who do this on their own, get the wrong message to the wrong target. So or the message is a limited time message. It's for an event that's on June 1st, and guess what? June 1st is gone. So there's some issues with this matchup. Okay, there's some science to it. I generally have my clients create a list of 5 messages: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The connection request, like your thumb, and the welcome message, like your index finger, and then 2 content messages that link off to something, and then a call to action message. We vary on this all the time, but this is the kind of McDonald's #1. So the engagement process is where it gets fun. That's all kind of what's in a campaign and all. This is what it looks like, and this is what we're going to automate. Everything kind of till now you could kind of do manually and stuff, but it's a lot of work. But you really could not do this manually. This would be really a lot of work to now I'll take that back, because Isaac has this system of weekly tags and moving them along to this and that and stuff. And that's how you can do this, perhaps without automation. It's a really complicated set of tagging systems and what week happens to what and all, you know. So what we're looking for, the purpose of this all is to get someone to respond. That's it. I mean, this is done, all these little things. If we could just wipe all of that out and just have the responses and say, just give me the responses. Well, that's what some clients want. You know, they just want the responses. And responses can come in all kinds of categories. Hey, I love it. I don't know. Or let's not do this. Okay. Now, if you're really good with your targeting, the top two are both leads, are they not? Huh? Tell me why Len is a lead. Somebody tell me.
He's expressed gratitude in whatever you've showed him.
Yes.
Maybe really top of funnel.
That's right. The other thing is, well, that's beautiful. That's the more beautiful answer than the one I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you the less sexy version of it. Everyone I targeted is a lead. Remember, I did that scrubbed list. Everyone on there is a lead. If they say anything at all other than no, they respond at all. Heck yeah. It's the same process. You know, look them up, see what matters, right? So the process of this comes down to somebody doing something, and it generally looks like this. Okay. The tools and systems out there are marketed as such that everyone can do this. We got the videos over there, you know, almost like this is safe group sex, you know, right? You don't know, it's not. It's not. You got to be careful. You got to know what you're doing. Now, some other people can do this. You know, assistants can take up some of this duty. A vendor can do it. The technology can do it, and the technology might be used by you or a vendor or an assistant. There's nothing mutually exclusive about this. Your vendor might work with your assistant. This is sort of like a little custom mapping. But it does come down to some combination of man and machine. Okay, somewhere, somehow. Your machine is LinkedIn, if nothing else. Copy and paste is a machine. Those are automation tools. They just help in a little different way. So let's talk about how we do it, and it comes down to systems. I come from this world. You know, I used to literally, I had color-coded stuff. You would know what room in the house this cable went to, by what color it went. The blue cables went to the bedroom where we had our RJ45 drops in the bedroom on both sides of the bed. All right, so let's talk how it works schematically. This is how you work on LinkedIn at home. You're on your laptop, you got your internet, you go on off to LinkedIn. Okay, so this is how it looks with a Chrome-based tool. Now, I'll talk about what kind of tools these are. I'm going to be kind of generic for a moment here. We'll talk specific about tools. But a Chrome tool installs as an extension on your browser. Now, LinkedIn has put together a project, and they funded it to the tune of $500,000. And I don't believe that is rumor or hearsay, to find out who is using Chrome-based tools and get in their way. They either discover that they are using them, and they put this thing in front, and they say, it looks like you're using a tool. That's not allowed. Click here and promise you'll never do it again. Because they got caught. All right. Now they might, if you're not using something, you're generally not going to get caught. You know, idle something, you're not going to get caught for having it installed. But using the tool, they know what to look for. Okay. And this is a Chrome-based tool. Okay. And there's a number of them in this category. Now, these are the ones you might have heard of. Duck Soup, Linked Helper, Meet Leonard is in this category. There's other Chrome tools as well. Okay, these are the ones that can be detected. They're inexpensive, you know, anywhere from 20 to 50 bucks, you know, that kind of thing. Pretty inexpensive. Okay, and when I say 20, most of them are in that 20 category. All right, you know, they get you into trouble. Like I said, any Chrome tool is not going to let you use your computer while it's doing its stuff. So here's how they sort of get in trouble. These tools realize that they're hogging your computer right now and that you'd like to use it. So they do their stuff kind of quick, and the quick part gets them in trouble. Okay. They're also easy to detect, a number of other things. So there's another category, and that's a local application. And it's the same makers sort of that are doing this out here. They realized that they got caught with their Chrome apps, and they kind of moved their cool stuff over to a local app. Okay, and this runs as a fat app, as you say, a DMG on a Mac, EXE on a PC. Same problems for the most part. Same problems, really. Not much different. They're a little more expensive. These tools are more in the $50 range instead of in the $20 range for a starting point. This is where it gets interesting. And this is where I primarily work. These are cloud tools. So you're essentially, when you use a cloud tool, the tool is provisioning a computer in the cloud out there that's logged into LinkedIn as you, that runs a script throughout part of the day from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. perhaps at night. You're able to specify, depending on the tool, either times of day or how many per day, that sort of stuff, okay? Depends a little bit on the tool and all. But this tool, this does not require your computer to be on or even to be working, and it could be in the shop. Now, you do need to log into the campaign tool to upload your targets, to upload your messages, to configure, to see your inbox, but you're terminaled in to a dashboard. You're not in as LinkedIn as LinkedIn itself. Okay, you're into the dashboard, and you're going to see all this. I'm going to demo this for you. This is the safest and purest thing that there is. This is what I recommend, and these are the tools that I use regularly, as well as some others. Okay, I limit myself to icons here. I could have put a number of others, but let's talk about this for a moment. These cloud-based tools, you know, they're running on a virtual PC that's a time slice in a server and a data farm somewhere. Okay, the first time that you log in, they generally require you to do a 6-digit code sort of thing. Okay, for that reason, they're kind of proven and safe and all, because they've been bona fide out there. You've been approved by you. It's like a 2-factor authentication. So LinkedIn, you know, at least so far out here, just sees them as just fine. All right. They have beautiful dashboards, and the inbox, it takes the messages and the conversations that are buried in your inbox. In some cases, 2 inboxes, right? But most of your LinkedIn.com inbox, they're singled out here. So it's just beautiful. These tools run from 75 to, well, actually ZapInfo starts at $30, okay? So from $30 to $197. Ulink is $75. There's no website for Ulink. In fact, don't even share the name Ulink with anybody. You know, keep that under wraps. It's a dark web tool. They don't want anyone to know about it. I have to get you a license. It takes 3 days. I've got to fill out some stuff and promise that you're not a bad person. Okay. Lead Tool Pro does have a website, leadtoolpro.com, and ZapInfo has a website, zapinfo.com. And I'm really partial to ZapInfo for many of the things I do that are ad hoc. Yeah, the really ad hoc stuff is really cool for ZapInfo. Lead Tool Pro does amazing things that other ones don't do. It does endorsement campaigns. It'll put all of your data from any one campaign into a separate Google Sheet out there without any Zapier or anything. Just dumps the data into a Google Sheet. It's beautiful. Ulink requires Zapier to get stuff out into something out there. Okay, the Ulink is primarily CSV files. Lead Tool Pro is Google Sheets. Okay, ZapInfo I use to get my data into Pipedrive. It's amazing. I go bang bang, and it's off into Pipedrive. And ZapInfo enhances the data, enriches the data with other stuff. So you can pull in twos, enrich the data, and it'll find the public profile URL, which is the one you want. Any sort of not the Sales Navigator fancy URL that's got all the gobbledygook in it. You know, so that's what these tools do. They all have a little something special they do. So let's talk about, if you got a CRM system, this is what you've been doing, right? Copy paste, okay, into your Pipedrive, into whatever, right? Well, these campaign tools can get data into your CRM system for you. Okay, and there's even a way to scrub it before it goes into the CRM. This would be Lead Tool Pro, for example, or some of the other tools where you have to use Zapier to get it into a Google Sheet. But the Google Sheet is where you can, change the spelling and add extra data, and then go boom like that and kick it off into your Pipedrive or your Salesforce or HubSpot or whatever. Okay. But in this stuff here, you've really got to be using, if you're playing with CRMs, you really got to be using a cloud-based tool. You really do. There's just no good way around it. Now, I said that there were 2 outputs. Okay. I'm kind of partial to this one here. Okay. Now LinkedIn says, don't scrape my data, and the rules and the courts kind of say something else. Okay. So if people are a little scared of the scraping sort of thing and all, I agree. You want to stay under the radar screen. You don't want anyone to know you're doing it and stuff like that. But don't think that the courts and stuff are coming after you or anything. Courts are coming after LinkedIn and saying, no, this is okay. Now, this is a limited ruling and all that sort of stuff. But so far, LinkedIn's losing in the courts on scraping. All right. So if you've got a CRM system, it might feel like this, right? My data's over there, LinkedIn's over here, and what do I do? Can I copy paste? Visual. Enough. What do you think, Isaac?
That's a great visual.
Isn't that great? Well, I can swim it, but how often can you swim it? Every time across there is a copy paste. It can be done. Don't you agree? You can take a boat across, copy, paste, or you can build a bridge or do something else. So these systems here have ways, either with CSVs or Google Sheets or feeds and stuff, to be able to get data into your CRM system. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. This is the kind of data in general people are talking about, right? These sort of things, profile URL. I'd add that onto there. So just a quick thing. I usually end my presentation on this slide, but I've got a special slide, and then we're going to go to demo. I want to share this slide for the group after this right here. So I'm an old fart in the LinkedIn world.
That's awesome.
There I am. Okay. I had a ponytail previous to this slightly, and my earring and everything there. But yeah, I was his boy for the afternoon. I had to make sure that he knew where the bathrooms were, that he knew when he was up, and I, here's the car and all that sort of stuff. So I got to spend 3-4 hours with Reid Hoffman at his table and his guy. He was a keynote speaker there and stuff. Let me share. He would not connect with me on LinkedIn. And he goes, Mike, I can't connect with you on LinkedIn. And I go, why? And he goes, because you have your email address in as part of your last name, and that's a violation. And I can't be connected with you for that. And I had to make a choice, and I made the wrong choice. What did I do?
I don't know.
I kept it, and I refused to connect to the founder of LinkedIn. I could have changed it and been connected to Reid Hoffman in 2007, and who knows what my life could have been like, being connected to him, especially after spending the afternoon with him and stuff. But I didn't. I felt firm to my bad convictions, and I missed out. So that's the presentation I'm going to do demo for you now. All right. Let me take some questions first. Okay. Any questions, folks?
I've got a comment, Mike.
Yeah.
I ran one of the tools on Parallels, and it allowed me to continue to use my computer while the tool ran in the background. And I wouldn't want to use Parallels for my day-to-day work, but running a tool on Parallels worked just fine.
Yeah, it might. For most people, that's a lot of configuration and system sort of stuff. Let me share the poor way of doing that, Mary. I got a better solution than running Parallels. I stripped Parallels off my computer. I had it running too. You got an old laptop in the closet, old underpowered laptop. It runs a cloud. It runs a local tool really slow, really well. You just strip everything off but Chrome in the browser. You just got these things running. I had a duck soup farm. Duck soup. before the cloud tools came on, and it was slow, and I didn't care. I bought laptops for $100, and then I realized I got them stored away over here from the past. The cloud tools just really, they want to run slow anyway. So,
Mike, I have a couple questions before you get into demo.
Yeah, yes, I'm going to screen share again. The demo is going to be really cool.
So if you're using a cloud-based tool, it's like it grabs your cookies, right? That's how it remembers the instance. Isn't that what it does? You log in and it grabs your li_at cookies to keep you logged in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Do you know, is that like, is LinkedIn viewing that cookie login with a browser like Chrome? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay,
you're more advanced than I am on some of the on many of these things here, buddy. I mean, the way you think about things is like a scientist, man. I mean, seriously. I do have an eat cookie tool here somewhere that I use right here if I'm hopping back and forth between things, and I'll just zap out the cookies here. But we're staying in one browser. There's no back and forth between one person. It's a brand new clean browser session that these tools do. There's nothing that exists at all to begin with.
The reason I was asking, Mike, was I was curious if you do like a profile view, if it goes to a profile and sends a message or whatever, if it's cloud-based, would that trigger a profile view notification?
It does. It's a view. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It goes to the profile to send from the profile and triggers a profile view.
Cool.
That's right. They pretty much all do. And you want it that way. That's by design.
Yeah, for sure. Have you found anything that will allow a two-way LinkedIn inbox sync within a CRM by chance?
No, but there's a new tool that I'm working. I'm visiting with the makers of that may do that. That's a LinkedIn inbox tool, but I haven't used it yet, and I don't want to share it with you. It's kind of pre-production. There's only limited, but it's an inbox tool. So, but these tools have their own inbox. So for example, let me see. I tried. Yeah. So here's an inbox. Here's the inbox tool. So the messages from the campaign get singled out into this inbox here. That there's the connection request. There's a response back. Here's the conversation. There they are. They're exchanging emails and talking. This gal's really new. So I've got another Ulink client here. I'll show you that's got more advanced stuff. Any questions? I thought I heard a peep.
Hey, Mike, I did have a quick question about whether you've ever used Octopus CRM and how that would compare with the one.
Yeah, Octopus is decent in this category. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Octopus would be one of the other ones in here. And I have not heard anything bad about Octopus. So I wouldn't say anything negative. So this is a dashboard, okay? I mentioned they have good dashboards. So we can see kind of 1 to 3 days, in the last month. She just kind of got ramped up in the last month. So far, 179 connection requests in the last week. So the schedule that we're running with her is right here, from time of day to time of day. But that's one of the things I really like about the Ulink tool is this scheduling thing. So come on. Zip, 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 zip. Yeah, I had things set up here ahead of time, so we wouldn't need to jump around here too much. But you see, I kind of had them all set up because I know these things are kind of slow on Zoom. So let's talk about the ones that work first while that one's loading up. The task queue here, it looks like it's loaded up now. This shows you what's coming up. So she's got 26 coming up and 345. She just launched in the last week or so. So if I kind of go to the next page, I can see what's happening. It's sending connection requests, sending invites. And then eventually over here, I'll see where there's a welcome message that's been sent and stuff. So for the sake of not redrawing lots of screens, you see, under the guise of this up here, I'll just kind of share that when you have an inbox here, you can change it to talking for a hot one, or change it to other categories and then filter on the categories. This is Ulink. Let me show you another Ulink client out here. This is Mark Maloney, and Mark Maloney has been at this for a long time. I'll just duplicate so I don't lose this window. We'll let that queue up. So here's conversation, for example, Jail Mariah here. Mark sends him an invite and he responds right to the invite after. Yes, I'm open. Okay. So he has not looked at that yet. The green ones here mean that he has not addressed them yet. Because green means, hey, talk to me, do something here. I got to move off of this move. This guy here, Tyrone, he's on the good list, on the big list. These are all leads here. These talking ones are all pretty much all leads. Okay. So that's how the inbox sort of thing works. Let's see where we are here. So I created.
Mike, what is it? Sorry, real quick. What does it look like if it's a not interested? So you have green, yellow. Is there a red for not interested?
No, it'll still say replied. It'll
Okay.
still say replied. It doesn't matter how they reply. And from replied, let me take one. I'll take this one here and show you. You would mark it as no interest.
All right.
Mike, can you grab everybody that's marked no interest and then like move them somewhere else, or grab the replied and talking and then plug them into another like group or campaign? Okay.
You cannot. Yeah. So the way to make that happen would be to drop tags on these people, to put them on those lists, to put them on. I put them on a lead list actually. So over here on the, well, just the delays with Zoom are really not good for this right here. So that's why I queued up these things up front. So I don't want to go anywhere there. So that's Ulink. Okay. That's Ulink. I promised you one tool, but the tool that has the most power over here is called Lead Tool Pro. And what makes Lead Tool Pro so powerful, and I've got an active campaign I'm running on Lead Tool Pro right now. Here's the inbox, for example. So you can see the messages in the inbox and can reply to them over here. Very similar to the other, okay? We can set up with what makes Lead Tool Pro so different are the sequences that you can do. Okay, so when I talk about a sequence, in Ulink, a sequence is called this message, then this message, then this message, then this message, then this one, then this one. And it can start out with a connection request, but all they do is messages. All Ulink does is messages. We can do a lot more over here with this tool. So my super advanced people like this. This is the tool that I use. This is the tool that an Isaac would use. All right. You can run an endorsement campaign, and these are beautiful. Now you can create, once again, remember a tag list that has just folks that look like you want to endorse. Okay. You can be as picky as you want with what you upload up here. You don't have to endorse everyone in a search. You can get really picky. All right. So view, you can view 1s, 2s, or 3s. So if you run a view campaign, the view campaign is really a data gathering campaign. It puts the data into a Google Sheet out there. So in other words, go get the data for these people and put them into a Google Sheet. That's what a view campaign is. But you could view and then go invite a week later. And then after they connect, you could send a message. And 2 weeks later, send another message. And a month later, send another message. And then you could endorse a skill and then send another message. You can string these things out. And as soon as they respond in any way, shape, or form, thumbs up, I hate you, I love you, whatever it is, any form of response, circuit breaks all of the actions that would come up afterwards. Okay.
Mike, can you, with Lead Tool Pro, can you invite them to connect on SalesNav, or is it going to go to the normal profile?
It's going to go to the normal profile to do the sending, and it goes in the normal inbox, even though it's a Sales Navigator search you upload.
Okay.
Okay. Now, did I say power? This is very powerful. Do you agree that these 5 functions are pretty damn powerful? Give me a hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it could definitely save you a lot of time.
Powerful freaking shit. Okay. Let's come down and see what a campaign can look like, because guess what? They can be super powerful as well. Let's talk about so what I don't like, there's no way to archive or folder campaigns. So when they get done, I just add a Z to push them at the bottom. The stuff I'm running currently is usually at the top up here, but I can toggle it on or off as I do. This one's over here, but I'm actually running. Let's look at this US Canada EOS campaign. So this is the one that's going right now. So these are the folks. These are the messages from people here. I can respond right from here like we showed. They're green. So what I did, I know the folks who run these companies here. So I got together with them and I said, you know, I like the features. Could you color code this stuff? And they did. They added color coding for me just because I wanted to. So that's that campaign. Let me show you what let me go back and show what a new campaign looks like. This is really, really powerful. We can upload a sales navigator search, our tag list or whatever. Same with LinkedIn, just a search. But we can target group members. So you can literally put in a group URL and there you go. Now, remember, group members could be well over 2,500. So that has some limited use, all right? You might take group members, put them into a tag list instead, if you're doing that. People who engaged in a post. Once again, your 2,500 limit kind of comes up into play here, but someone engaged in a post. So I pick people who engaged in a post, and then I do a visit campaign to gather their data, right? To gather their data, decide which ones I want from that spreadsheet. We did this, 700, I took 300 of them, okay? I can import, I can just literally copy and paste in profile URLs in here. Instead of a search, instead of people who engaged in a post out here. Literally, it's amazing. If you had a smaller network, you could engage everyone in your network to target. Now, one of the best features, didn't I say best feature? I got so many best features. My network, these tools, all of them, all the cloud tools, all the cloud tools, they will go and gather all of your data automatically without having to do anything. All of the data, email address, phone number, location, like about 10 data fields on 29,000 people that it could do this with, without lifting a finger in the background. Whoa, man, that's cool. Man, that's cool. All right, so that's
Mike, do you know how long that takes? Like, do they do like 70 per day?
30,000 connections. It took a week.
A week to do 30,000? Okay.
You can do 1,000 in a couple days. 1,000 will fully populate.
Is the My Network thing static, or does it go and update?
It's dynamic. It's dynamic.
Cool.
Now, if someone changes their name or something, I don't know that it'll do a change, but it adds more people to it.
Gotcha.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's not checking to see if the data is current. You know, you can unload it and restart it, and it will restart from scratch. And I've done that.
Yep.
Okay. So I want to show you Lead Tool Pro. That's the next one that I love so much. So here's a little search with five first level connections in Minnesota with the last name Swanson.
Is Ron on there?
Ron Swanson?
It's a joke from Parks and Rec. Sorry.
I don't know the show. I'm sorry. I hear it's great. Cool. All right. So I can Zap Info is a Chrome extension, but it's not like the others because it's not a campaign tool. So Zap Info here. Let me refresh the screen. One of the things with Zap Info is I find I got to refresh the screen often because if I don't see the little Z over here that we'll see in a moment here, then I know I kind of need to refresh the screen. And there it is. So I can zap these 5 people in. And I can extract from the page here, these 5 people, and then it will pull them into its Zap Info database and enrich them. Now, if they were 2s, I could enrich them as well. It'll go get their LinkedIn profile URL still because it's getting it from the public internet when it's enriching. I'm not going to bring them in because I've got other data in here and stuff, but I could add them to a list, and that would essentially adds another column in the spreadsheet when you download it. Okay. If I say clip into full user profiles, it will visit all of their profiles and gather the data from their profiles, including their full summary and stuff. All right. And it grabs them into its internal database. One of the things I particularly like is I'll go on one person's profile. Here's Jason. I can just zap one person in to the database. So I'll just zap Jason in. So I'll actually do it here since Jason is one of my peeps. Come on.
Zap Info is probably my favorite for like just as you're working, if you need to grab someone on the fly, has been my favorite. Yeah,
it's a great ad hoc tool and it starts at $30.
Yeah, it's pretty affordable.
So people can afford it. I use Pipedrive, and they added a feature to zap stuff right on into Pipedrive.
Yeah.
So as soon as I get my little deal, I zap them right on into Pipedrive, and I go in every day and I clean up the stuff. I can't clean it up before it goes in, but here's here we go. I'm going to extract from his page.
Could you show them what the export looks like too?
Yeah, yeah, I sure can. Yeah, thanks for prompting me for things here. Got a little bit of a script, but there's like I see, I got a couple more tabs here I want to show.
Oh yeah, sorry. If they don't let it mess up your jam. It's cool.
Okay. So things run usually really pretty quick. It takes about 60 seconds to fully extract. And with the zoom here and stuff, it's just too much time out for us. But it would zap it. I'll try it one more time. It would zap it right on into Pipedrive. There we go. So it did. I can push it right into Pipedrive. It already, and see, it enriched it and stuff. And so his name's Jason Schreiner. So let me go into Pipedrive, and we'll just see Jason Schreiner. Notice I'm not logged into Pipedrive, and it still put it in. So this is what I like so much is I just go through and I want to get my CRM, get in my CRM. I want you in. And then over there at the end of the day, I sort through people out here. So Jason was his name, just to prove. Jason Schreiner. Okay. So now it only brings in a certain amount of data doing that. But look at the data it brought in. Brought in his profile URL, his job title, his location and stuff here. What I do is I do the smart data. I just zap these and I let Pipedrive go ahead and get other data if it can. And sometimes it gets a bunch more data for these people. He's a solopreneur, so it doesn't do so much. Solopreneurs, it doesn't find as much. But there I am. I was literally on a profile and I got him right on into it. So here's 21 people. These are on a tagged list. We talked about doing scrub tag lists. Okay. So these are 21 people in Minnesota on a scrub tag list. So I'll just, get my little, in a bit of a moment since this thing had refreshed. I can zap these 21 people in and they'll come on into my system. So I'll show you what the data looks like since that was a question. You can take your data, it shows up here. Now I undock it out here. So I usually undock it and I like to see it where I can see all the corners of everything. And here you can see, I can look, let's just grab Cindy Rayfield. She came in from Sales Navigator and look what we scraped. There's her whole summary. That goes into one field, by the way, when it exports, a field called summary. Isn't that beautiful?
That's great.
So I can take all of these people, I highlight all of them, and then I can go visit all of their profiles. It'll visit, I don't know how many, I couldn't see at the moment how many profiles there were. I can enrich them. Oops, I can enrich them if I choose to, which will go out and find extra 78 fields. It'll go find 78. It'll go find data for those 78 and enrich their data. But I can also zap them out. And when I zap them out here, I can put them onto a clipboard. I can Control C, Control V from a clipboard. Okay, so literally I can just paste it right into a Google sheet. I can put it into a CSV, or I can load them all up over into Pipedrive. Yep. And when I go into Pipedrive, I have to map that. So I originally have to do a little bit of mapping and stuff when you originally do this, but instead of sending one record, it'll send 78 records over into Pipedrive, like we talked about. So I think that's good. There's a few other tools I could show you and stuff but there's nothing new to be had by seeing something more from this and that. My recommendations, if you're a high-end user, is Lead Tool Pro. It's $197. I'll talk about Pipedrive in just a moment. Okay, Judy? Gotcha. Most folks are really good with Ulink. I've got 20 clients on Ulink. And they love it. They get the back end, the inbox is beautiful. I can train their assistants to take over so that they can in-house it. After 3, 4, 5 months, they take it in-house and stuff. So let me get on to chat. We had some good chat stuff here. So have I heard of a company named Connected? Seems to be a campaign and scrubber to get targeted accounts. I've not heard of Connected. I'm using tools that are pretty rich in terms of how long they've been around. Ulink is by far the one that's been around the longest and the best from that. Smart Links in Sales Navigator, that's a feature that comes from the team edition that you have. So Smart Links is where I can put content up in Sales Navigator, or actually in the Smart Links, but Sales Navigator works with it, and then point to it in a campaign and say, here's a link to some content, link to content. And I use the smart links part. I pay $130 for the team edition, even though it's only me, but it gives me 5,000 leads. Checking with which CRM are you guys using? Hey, which CRM is everybody using? I use Pipedrive and Salesforce. Who uses Pipedrive? Raise your hand.
Yeah,
Wow.
I work with a lot. Pipedrive is pretty common for our clients. HubSpot, I have actually grown more fond of recently because of the email automation piece, if you pay for that type of membership, which fits in very nicely with LinkedIn. If somebody converts from LinkedIn to CRM, like they want more info, then what HubSpot lets you do, and this is a limitation with Pipedrive, Pipedrive has automation, but it's like one-step automation. And so like with HubSpot, you could send that first email, and if they don't reply, it can send a follow-up and another follow-up. And if they do, or if it bounces and doesn't do anything. With Pipedrive, I think you can only trigger one email broadcast. That's been
They have
my
to go into their
preference.
marketplace, Isaac. There's marketplace apps that work with it, like Zap Info is in their marketplace.
Yeah.
I wrote the first review for Zap Info in the marketplace on Pipedrive because I do love it. Isaac, you might do that as well, by the way. Going to do a review. They'll recognize you and love you as much as they love me. And they do love me. They do features for me. What other the ones did we have? The Breakfast Club, great. HubSpot, if you just want some little tiny stuff, the HubSpot free is really great for just little tiny stuff, but you can go to $300 or more a month, like fast.
It's scale.
You gotta have. $1,000, $1,500 a month. I mean, I'm whoa. And Pipedrive's $29, and it's pretty hard to spend more than $100, even if you go all the way on up with that. It's just not as intuitive. HubSpot's a beautiful interface. I love it. Yep. So Point Drive. So advantages of Pipedrive. Point Drive is within LinkedIn. Point Drive is a place where you can store some files, and Smart Links sort of replaces that if you've got a high-end account where you can do Smart Links. I don't endorse Smart Links. I don't think I'm going to stay at the $130 level with team for very much longer. I'm going to go back to $80. I'm going to get away around the 1,500 lead problem. I'll get around it some other way.
Mike, have you found anything that will do sales nav messaging? I haven't found anything that works with their API for the sales nav. You have?
Yeah, LinMail Pro does. So LinMail Pro, it's a Chrome tool, and it's a good Chrome tool. LinMail Pro. Okay now LinMail Pro, when you go, you've got to send a note and apply and stuff. But that does, and that's a tool that we used. We use more LinMail Pro than the duck soup when I was lining up my old computers. Because literally these things are old as piss, just really, really super old. I know they're not XP computers or anything, but when you run those Chrome tools like that out there, that's the one. LinMail Pro will run from that side. And when you do, then on the other side, they get the full message. That beautiful message in their inbox. It shows the whole message that comes instead of click to see the message, like when it comes from LinkedIn. But there aren't any cloud tools that do that I'm aware of, and you can't choose with any one. It's whatever the tool decides.
Yep. Judy's asking if you could talk more about Octopus CRM.
I have people who use it that I talk to and I consult with. It does a lot of the features that Lead Tool Pro does. Okay, it'll endorse and do a bunch of things like that. I believe there's a Chrome tool and a cloud tool. Go with the cloud version. The intermediate one is to go with the fat app, as they say. Just try to stay away from Chrome, other than Zap Info. Zap Info is clean, but it's a Chrome tool. Yeah, Copilot. Copilot. Yep. Once again, we're in the category of these sort of other tools out there. I've chosen a few based on what the other experts have told me. I didn't pick these because I like the website. I'm using tools that the other experts have recommended to me in my circles here, so they're well proven. Beep to be, not B to B, beep to be. Beep to be is a very good one. Let me share, it's $285 for Beep to be. And Rich Long, he's really cool. Rich, R-I-T-C-H Long is my buddy there, okay? And talk to Rich, he's cool as heck. And he loves everybody in the world. He's in Phoenix. It's $285 for Beep to be, okay? They literally spin up a server with one user on it. It's $500 for a 5-user license. Might be 5 or 6 user license. So Beep to be would be if you got some buddies and friends, you want to split the cost on it, or if you're using it as a service provider like Isaac and I do, we use tools like that because we can just fire up another server like that. Okay. It's a $349 setup fee with Beep to be. So, I mean, get your wallet out, you know, $285 a month and $349 to start. Okay. But yeah, it used to be Connect Dingo. Connect Dingo became Beep to be, which is SOAP CRM as well. You're in the same category. Connect Dingo, good folks for sophisticated software. You can do fancy stuff with that. I like them. They're on my good list. If I had to light up 5 users tomorrow, I might consider lighting them up on Beep to be. They've done it right. The inbox is why people like you link. That's it. I'm done presenting. Anyone got any more questions and stuff? Does anyone used a cloud-based tool? Let me just ask. Has anyone used a cloud-based tool other than Isaac? Pointing at Isaac. I'm not, you're to my left, Isaac, but other than Isaac and Zap Info.
Sugar
Anybody?
CRM, I've toyed with. Sugar CRM?
Yeah, no, that's a CRM, not a campaign tool. And that would connect to a campaign tool. Probably with Zapier to be able to do that. Anyone used a Chrome tool like Duck Soup or anything?
I used Duck Soup and then I switched to Octopus.
Good, you made a good move, Eric. Yeah, that's a good move. I would encourage you to move off of Octopus. Just don't go near the limits of things, you know, right. Stay at 3/4 speed on anything. When they show you can do 100, that means 75 to me. When they say 50, that means 37 to me. You just never, ever want to get caught using these things, okay? You know, you never want to get caught using a Filipino either. You know, that's not allowed. And I don't mean Filipino and any overseas person, you know. You're not allowed to log in from another deal from another person. So this is just a little easier.
Yes,
once you get into CRM stuff and with these, you can start to get your scheduling tools all set up. I'm doing wild stuff. I'm setting up wild stuff with Pipedrive. So when you set up a Calendly call with me, it automatically enters you into Pipedrive. It even sets up a deal, an account, and everything over in there. But it's done through some special automations and stuff. And it's not as automated. You got to use third-party stuff to really automate over there. Like Isaac said, it's like one level sort of automation on things. You can't drip, but you can plug in the drip tools.
Here, I'll give you one. Have you ever messed with Phantom Buster?
Yes.
So that I've really appreciated Phantom Buster because it'll visit a sales nav profile. And then it'll visit their company page on SalesNav, and then it'll grab the domain URL. And that's very helpful for us if we have a group of people who have not replied and we want to get their work email because we for sure have the company domain. And a lot of the other tools that I've seen for enriching information does like an auto search based off of company name, and a lot of times it'll pull in the wrong domain. So
yeah, it won't pull in nothing. It'll pull in the wrong one, which is even worse. I know. Right, I totally know that, and they think it's right. Right.
Yeah. So if you're doing anything with email, I have found Phantom Buster to be the most time-effective way to get accurate emails.
So when I bring data into Pipedrive and I push that Smart Data button, I got to look close and make sure. I don't just always look. I did quickly look here. But you got to look, it can find the wrong company, and you're going to populate all this stuff with bad data from the company that's the LLC instead of the Inc. or something. That's been an issue, and it's hard to unwind that part other than deleting data fields. There's other things where you can say, oh, I didn't want that. You know, pipe drive imports. Nope, I'm going to revert back. But you can't do that. The smart data, you have to delete the stuff one at a time.
Cool. Any other questions for Mike?
Bye, John.
Great job, buddy. You rocked it.
Appreciate you being here.
No more questions?
So,
all right.
We're in a world where we're used to free trials. Not here. Not in this world. A 7-day trial is enough time for you to just get stuff configured and up. You're not enough time to do anything. So be prepared to spend a whole month on it. If you didn't do a darn thing, it would be worth it just to fire it up, gather all of that data about your existing network, and just turn it off. I'm days away or weeks away from someone just saying, I'll just do that. Just $75, $30, $100, light it up.
Cool. All right. Well, if no one has any more questions, Mike, thank you very much for your time, for the demos, for the slides. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Bruce.
All right. All right. And Mike's profile was on the email that went out. So if you're not connected with him, you should.
There's a question on Microsoft Dynamics CRM, by the way. It will link into Salesforce, into Sales Navigator, as will Salesforce. I get those links in it. Do you want to add to CRM, those little boxes? It's really limited and stuff, but boy, it's worth a view. Don't count on getting email addresses and stuff into your CRM from LinkedIn though. Somehow, I think they're always going to limit it somehow. I have a sale. Do you have to have Sales Navigator for Zap Info to work? No, you don't. And you don't have to have Sales Navigator for Lead Tool Pro either. None of these tools require you to have Sales Navigator. What you have to upload is the full search. You can't scrub the list. Okay. And you can't eliminate the 2 small companies or the 2 big companies. You got all the companies, but yes, they work with sale. You're generally going to want a premium account over there though, because you're going to push it too far pretty quick, right, Isaac?
Yeah, I would say also
the
if
automation tool with a free account.
I don't know. I think if you're the only thing that if it's an older account, the only thing that you want to be mindful of is doing too many searches just because you've reached your search limits.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Generally speaking, there's something that's going to trip a wire on a free account using this sort of stuff here. But that's the time to decide to upgrade. And if you are going to upgrade, Isaac, which account do you want? The premium or the Sales Navigator?
Yeah, premium is not worth it. I'll say this too. If you are moving back and forth between Sales Navigator and normal LinkedIn, I found a really good hack is if you have the Sales Nav profile URLs, if you take this in the URL /sales/people and you replace that with /in and you get rid of everything that follows the commas, then it'll redirect to the normal LinkedIn profile.
There should be a way for a programmer to be able to do that sort of stuff. I'll bet that doesn't cost $300 to get coded.
Yeah, I don't know. But we just throw it in a text doc and do find replace. It takes like 5 seconds, but yeah.
Yep. All right. By the way, I'll say one other thing about Zap Info. If you just wanted to just get the email addresses of people or just get the profile URLs instead of all the other data, it'll just suck that field or that field. I mean, I just want the emails because that's all I'm going to do. Don't go do all that other fancy stuff, or just get the profile URLs. And it comes back just like that. So you don't have to go for the kit and caboodle of all the data if you want. If you're just looking for one.
Did you say that was Lead Tool?
No, that's with Zap Info.
Oh yeah, yeah.
For $30, Zap Info should be part of the toolkit. It really should.
I agree. And like we deal with a lot of big variety of CRMs. And so like Zap Info will push to HubSpot and then Pipedrive. But if there are limitations there, if you're dealing with like multiple Pipedrives accounts, that kind of thing. So what we'll do is we'll do the export to clipboard, and then we'll just paste that into a Google Sheet, and then use Zap Info to pass it into CRM. And it does the same thing, but just saves a lot of time.
What a beautiful that paste to clipboard, I think, is just so sweet. Take it wherever you want, instead of, we'll pick down the list. So do you want this kind of CSV or this one or an Excel or an XLSX or whatever, just paste it wherever you want it. I found that really good.
And then you don't deal with tons of files in your download folder.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm gonna wrap it up then.
One-on-one with anyone, I'll show you stuff. One-on-one, we can do stuff on this. So otherwise, this is fun. I had 3/4 of that PowerPoint already done. I hadn't realized I'd already done it. So
awesome, Mike. Awesome. Well, thanks for your time. We'll see everybody hopefully next week.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Garth.
See ya.
Save the chat, everybody. Save the chat. There's good info in the chat. It's those 3 dots.
Yeah, I'll give everybody just a moment here to do that before I wrap it up. See y'all.